Welcome to the Roger Beecroft channel. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button. Put your comments below and let me know what you think about this. So I put this cabinet together. It was a little bit rushed. We'll show you some of the steps that we did, but I like to do this where there's one door. It's really three separate cabinet doors, but I just joined them together here. And yeah, makes it so. I like when you open a cabinet, I kind of like to see the whole thing. Usually when I get into a cabinet, I'm not just looking, you open up the bottom one and what you're looking for is in the middle and the top, and you end up opening all these different handles and doors and stuff. And so we're gonna put a handle here in the middle, but yeah, it's pretty nice. So check it out. I'll show you some of the steps that we did to put this together. Put a little hole right there, screwed it into the wall. Same thing with, let's see, this one back here. So up here you can see the screw holes right there, which is silly. Why didn't I put it to the back side? I finally realized that on this post, I put them on the back, and I didn't need two. I only needed really one putting this together. We can see that there. This one, I put it on the other way. There's no holes, but then this one, we have inside. Construction, it's just a 1/2 inch finished cabinet. I was gonna go 3/4, but you can see this is pretty. This isn't really flexing. We're not putting a lot of heavy stuff in here. That's just stuff that weighs, a few pounds. But you can see our linen closet we finally have in there. And I did put a bottom on here. I didn't want to have the tile, but the tile goes all the way up. The baseboard, I just basically made this to fit, and I cut. You can see a baseboard was already in place and everything. This baseboard just goes right through, and I just cut around the cabinet here. I'll show you this other side, cut this. So the baseboard, so if we ever remove this, the baseboard and wall and tile and everything would still all be in place. And I put some weather stripping on the bottom here to set on, because I didn't want the wood sitting directly on the tile and making creaking sound, and it doesn't. I'll jump up and down a little bit. There's no creaking when you walk past it. Sometimes those things can creak. And so what I did is when I lined this up, I made this really straight, this edge. However, this part right here, I don't know if you really can tell. It's hard to tell on the camera, but I probably should have pushed this over. You can tell when I finally get to the top, I've got a space I had to fill with caulking right there. I probably should have pushed this that way about 1/8 of an inch to get this spacing a little bit tighter here. However, if I did that, then this spacing right here would have been straight. So I kind of set it to one thing. Maybe I should have scooted the cabinet at the top just a little bit that way. Have a little bit bigger of a gap here, you probably would have noticed, but then the gap here would have been a little bit tighter, you would notice. But anyways, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna paint this caulking line. We'll do this gray color, we'll paint that caulking line. So then it'll give the illusion that it's straight going up, and when in reality it does start to move that way a little bit. Anyways, there it is. Looks pretty good, I think. Ordered the cabinets from order the cabinet doors from a local company that made them, and again we just put them. What I did with this piece here is I just used my router and I cut about 1/8 of an inch gap on the router right here, you can see, and then I took an 1/8 inch piece of like plywood and cut it on the saw, put it right here. And this isn't my best work, unfortunately. It's kind of embarrassing, but I was painting that morning, and I'll show you a little bit, and I just kind of rushed and put this all together, nailed it, glued it. But normally my work, I would have sanded this better so that there's no sand line, no line, and filled these holes a little bit better. So yeah, a couple of little imperfections. And in my previous video I showed I put caulking in all these lines right here, these gaps. So I've already done that, showed that in other videos, but as you can tell, there's no line between the panel and the I can't remember, stiles and rails. So that's what I like to have. So thanks for watching, and I'll show you some other of the steps that we did along the way to work on this. Kitchen cupboards, cabinet doors that we did. And just to show you an example, I did not put the caulking in this one, thinking that the paint, the primer and 2 coats of paint would have filled these. And as you can see, it did not. So we painted these several months back, but this again is not the type of finish work that I really like. And so at some point in time, I will be putting caulking on this and repainting these cabinet doors. Today we are doing a little bit of sanding and then painting again. So I've got a new little Ryobi sander here, orbital sander. It seems to be working really good. It has this little bag that I don't think it really catches much, maybe some super fine dust, but not like you'd think it would for like a vacuum suction of some sort. Maybe if you hooked a vacuum suction up to it, it would pull a lot more dust, but oh well, whatever. We do it outside, so it's not so bad. So I've got some 120 grit sandpaper on there. I try and get the higher quality sandpaper so it doesn't rip, and here we go. As you can see, that's all it takes to do a nice, I don't know if you can see it or not, but we're just putting a little bit of a rounded corner on this. So in a previous video, I showed how I put some caulking in these corners like this, because what happens is over time is crumbs and all that garbage get in there. Here's my makeshift router table. So then what I do is I'll adjust the height where I want it, and then the width, I'll just move that side. I get this side really tight. I'll smooth the other side. So checking the depth. I have to do this like 5 times. Check that out. This is what we're gonna do with our cabinet. You'll see in a minute. We've got some 5/8" nails, finished nails. We're gonna put these little guys into the nail gun. So if you don't have one of these Ryobi 18 gauge nail guns for finish, I recommend getting one because they are absolutely amazing. Sorry, my wife's over there sanding. But anyways, these things are absolutely amazing. I also have a Porter Cable pneumatic or air one, but I'll tell you what, these things are awesome because you just use them, you don't have to deal with air and all that stuff. So rather than have 3 separate cabinets, door openings, we want to have just one door opening. We want to open it with one handle and not have to deal with having to open 3 different times. So I'm syncing these together like this. The glue I use, I don't know if I've told you before, but this Tri-Bond Ultimate Wood Glue, this is like super glue for wood. This stuff is absolutely amazing.
Oh, I got 3 of those. I only needed 2. That's fine.
So they'll all be together. It'll be awesome. It's pretty awesome. Just one door. I always run a little bit of water through this first thing because we got to get out that oil, that pump oil that we put in there last time to keep everything lubed. So I've used a lot of primer. Oh, there goes the sander again. So I used a lot of primer before, and this Zizner Bin primer is absolutely amazing. I definitely recommend it. It's sandable, dries quick, and it's great. Prime. I got a 311 here. You can see the little numbers right there on the side. 311. I don't even think you can see that. Feel pretty dang good. It's just a prime coat. I'm gonna put it on too thick. These holes from the nail gun, you know what, this is not my style to leave these and paint over these and leave all this, but you know, I just decided that we'll leave it for now and then come back